Welcome to Black History Decoded, where I give insight into Black or African history that has been misrepresented over the centuries.
Menes, is referred to as the first king. But no archaeological evidence for the existence of Menes has ever been found, and he is not mentioned in a clearly royal context until the New Kingdom, over 1,000 years after he is said to have lived.
A clip from World of Antiquity. You should check out his channel. I have been saying that ancient Egypt is not a 3,000-year-old civilization and the timeline is all jacked up. What he said there is further proof of the timeline being all jacked up. How is it that Menes is only mentioned in the so-called New Kingdom? I have mentioned that the 18th dynasty of ancient Egypt is actually the first dynasty of ancient Egypt. That's why Menes is mentioned in the so-called 18th dynasty and beyond.
And we do have evidence that this name was part of Egyptian tradition for some time. In the Turin Canon, the Abydos King List, and the reliefs of the Ramesseum, all coming from the New Kingdom period, centuries before Herodotus.
I'm not surprised history has been manipulated. I even mentioned in one of my videos that the Anunnaki King List, which is their first dynasty, and they are not from outer space, just to let you know, is eerily similar to the 18th dynasty of ancient Egypt, making the Anunnaki the ancient Egyptians. By implying that they're from outer space is a way of distracting or distorting history. These are the lengths they go to hide Black history.
The earliest mention of Menes is often said to be an 18th dynasty scarab that shows the name of Menes in a cartouche supported by a winged scarab beetle above a kneeling god holding in each outstretched hand a papyrus plant, on which the juxtaposed cartouches of Hatshepsut and Thutmose III appear.
Apparently, there's a dispute whether this scarab is authentic, but I believe it is because Menes comes from the so-called 18th dynasty, which is actually their first dynasty. Also, what is the most important dynasty of ancient Egypt? The 18th dynasty. Which is actually the first dynasty. Some say that this scarab was done in order to prove Hatshepsut's rule was legitimate by connecting herself to the first pharaoh, who supposedly lived 1,500 years before her time. Ridiculous, right? Not only that, but she's also showing her supposed rival, Thutmose III. Very strange. Now, I'm going to explain this scarab. Note Hatshepsut and Thutmose III are on opposite sides from each other, connecting to the first pharaoh. Keep this in mind for what I'm about to say. Hatshepsut is part of the first dynasty, which is called the 18th dynasty by corrupt Egyptologists. Menes, or the first pharaoh, is her grandfather, and Thutmose III is her father. Yes, yes, yes. This scarab shows that she has major status because she's connected by way of her father, who is the third son of the first pharaoh. I always wondered why there were like 3 Thutmoses in that dynasty. It's because they were sons of Menes, or the first pharaoh. According to the Anunnaki King List, the first pharaoh had 3 sons. The firstborn son took the throne after his father died. So the firstborn rule was established then. He did not have a son, so the second son of the first pharaoh took the throne, and he took the daughter of his youngest brother, who was Hatshepsut. His youngest brother was Thutmose III. He took his daughter to wife, which is Hatshepsut. Hatshepsut did not marry her brother, she married her father's older brother. So the story of Hatshepsut trying to rob or postpone Thutmose III being on the throne is all wrong. If anybody had a problem, it would be the minor wife and those who she is connected to. Hatshepsut's husband had a firstborn son from a minor wife, but eventually Hatshepsut had a son from her husband, the pharaoh. Not a firstborn, so she contested the firstborn rule. Because of her lineage, her son should be the next pharaoh because of bloodline. This is what this scarab is showing. I know what I'm talking about. My narrative is way more plausible than anything these Egyptologists are saying about this scarab or about Hatshepsut's story. Anyway, do your own research, and I guarantee you will have a lot of questions. Like, share, subscribe, and make a comment. Thanks.